A very good morning to our chief guest, Mr. Deepak Deshpande, guests of honor, Mr. Sudeep Shah, Ms. Reema Basu, and Ms. Deepa Nambiar, Chairman, IESMCRC, Mr. Sameer Tamhane, Director, IESMCRC, Dr. Sapna Modi, Principal, IES College of Architecture, Mr. Vineet Mirkar, my faculty colleagues, staff members, support staff members, and most importantly, all of you, my dear future managers, welcome to IESMCRC. A big hand to all of y'all. Thank you so much, Sapna ma'am, not just for the information on IESMCRC, but for forming that warm and nice connect with the students. It was really interactive and nice. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm privileged to have the pleasant task of introducing our chief guest, Mr. Deepak Deshpande, Vice President and Head Customers Experience, Tata Business Excellence Group. Mr. Deepak Deshpande is a business excellence professional with subject matter expertise in transformation and people management. He heads the customer experience function at Tata Business Excellence Group and closely works with over 100 companies across different sectors. He brings 32 plus years of experience in business consulting. He has expertise in sectors like hospitality, airlines, travel, automotive, IT and ITES, communication technology, steel, power, aerospace and defense sectors, and retail. He is also the subject matter expert for HR practices at Tata Business Excellence Group, a role in which he integrates business excellence with people practices. He has been a thought leader on people dimensions and has headed HR in senior leadership roles, enabling business delivery with direct responsibilities for HR across geographies. He is certified to study and assess organization culture by Positive Culture Academy. He has also led culture deep dives and cultural transformation for various Tata companies. He is a certified CII HR Excellence and Customer Obsession Framework as senior leader and is on the committee of CII Excellence of Leadership and HR. He leads a team to revamp the HR excellence model for CII, which is used by companies across India to benchmark their HR practices with business. Before joining Tata Business Excellence Group in 2012, he was with Tata Chemicals Limited as head HR. Prior to joining the Tata Group, he has held leadership positions in companies like Century Communications, IMRB International, Fiat India, and Force Motors. Students, it's time to get inspired as I'm going to talk about his academic credentials. Mr. Deshpande holds a master's degree in management from Pune University and is a trained mechanical engineer from VIT Pune. He is certified ESG professional certified coach, certified independent director. He holds a diploma in training and development from the Ministry of HR in India. He's a certified quality improvement associate, a certified manager of quality and organizational excellence. I have to catch my breath. Certified level 3 qualitist and certified on the OCAI culture specialist from Positive Culture Academy. He is also on the panel of IIT Powai as a mentor coach for their students. He's also a mentor for IIM Lucknow and IIT Mumbai and on the panel for TAS, that's Tata Administrative Services. Hope so soon he'll also be a mentor for IES. Mr. Deepak was invited to deliver a keynote address at Cambridge on Belbin. Well, it is said that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I think we need to replace the word Jack with Mr. Deepak Deshpande, because Mr. Deshpande is actively into fitness and nutrition, actively involved in variety of sports, high-intensity training, gymming, activities such as badminton, swimming, and trekking. He's a competitive swimmer, and he loves diving. He's a certified scuba diver and a core member of Tata Sports Club of the Badminton Committee. Well, move aside Virat Kohli, we have with us a brand ambassador of a protein supplement company. That is Mr. Deepak Deshpande. He also reviews various swimming pools too. Based out of Mumbai, Mr. Deshpande enjoys reading and is fluent in 4 languages: English, Hindi, Marathi, and Kannada. Mr. Deshpande, I'm truly honored to welcome you to the podium to share your thoughts with us.
Good morning, all. Thank you, Sushma ji, for those kind words. I didn't know that you're going to go through the entire thing. If I had to, and thank you so much for that. If I had to introduce myself, it's just one word, which is seeker. That is what I truly believe in terms of learning. How do we keep seeking and moving forward? If I had to go back almost 33 years, and when I was in this phase where you are, and I continue to be in the phase where you are. The only difference is we are all learners. I'm over here. In fact, there's another journey of my learning which has just started. Thank you.
So you can be comfortable.
Sure. Can I have the slide? So at that point of time, I was told that you need to phase your career in stages of 10 years. So the first 10 years is learning, lots of learning. Just focus on learning, that's very important. The next 10 years is from the word alphabet learning, remove L, what remains? Yeah. But I was totally off guard, and that's where I realized this 10-year plan is not going to work, because you can't have a learning journey of 10 years, which gradually reduced to 5 years. As I realized that it's very important to keep ourselves updated on various things which are happening in life and be ready, prepared to kind of deal with it. So from 5 years, I have further moved on to 3 years, and now I'm in a zone of 3 months, which means basically the earning won't happen, but the learning has to happen. So wherever we take care of Saraswati, Lakshmi, and her blessings would follow. So thank you so much, and I'd start with our key stakeholders over here, which is parents. As a parent myself, I know all of you would be having this anxiety of which is a good college, best college. It's also kind of return on investment, right? You're sending your kids in a college, and the entire planning that you would be having would be there. And from a business paradigm, it's basically who pays our salaries? Customers, right? So parents are actually the customers. However, the consumers of what is being produced over here, I mean, produce is not the right word, but what is being shared, what is being co-created is all knowledge, and the consumers of those knowledge is all about the students. Where is the slide, Chini? Or you can just click it when I do it. So the consumers are all the students, and I was intently listening to the aspect of future leaders. So for me, all of you are already leaders over here. And let's give a round of applause for ourselves, because you are leaders right now. And most importantly, all the faculty members over here, Tamane sir, Dr. Sapna Modi, Dr. Neeraj sir, for giving me an opportunity to be here amongst all of you, to share more of my failures. And I consider failure as a next step and a possible step to quickly learn and move forward. So there are certain aspects which I feel I have been learning, which I've been doing, I've been practicing, and that's what I thought I can broadly share with all of us over here. Is that okay? Yes? No? Yeah. So who learns fastest? Kids? Do you agree? Why does it happen? Why do kids learn fast? They observe, yeah, and they are extremely curious. So what happens with curiosity typically? When Sapna ma'am was asking, even for that good morning, we all hesitated, right? Even me as a child, I was really hesitant to raise my hand and ask a question. Why? Because log kya kahenge? So that's always there. Or is it going to be a stupid question? Or what will others say? And that's where we kill that curiosity, the childlike person within us who's really wanting to learn, enjoy, and have fun. So that's what I thought we'll be doing. And what we see over here is Carpe Diem. Anybody knows what this means? Yes, please. Wonderful, lovely. So you know Vinod, right? And you can take the full gift, Vinod, not half of it. So, yeah, so absolutely, it is seize the day. You don't have to wait 2 years from now to come and do things. So basically, it's about seize the day. And how do you seize the day? Do we seize the day with our reptilian brain, which is telling us that it's not safe, let's not raise hands, let's not question, let me just be with my people whom I know, let me be with my familiar situation, familiar place? Probably not. The seize the day is going to happen if you are fully fearless, fully there, living your life at every point of time and really being conscious over there. So I think that's the aspect of seizing the day. What I've put in over here is kind of an integrated learning journey which has really helped me. And though the steps or the staircase looks like something which is going up, which is more directional, but it's also important to look at various aspects. So I felt this particular framework which I use, I'll not get into the models, which you'll certainly get into it, but it's all about the way we all learn, the way we all transform, the way we all change ourselves. So it basically starts with something which is an environment, right? The first thing when it comes to an environment is around where and when. And for you, the entire environment change is quite new, right? Each one of us coming in over here, first day of the college, new college, coming into an auditorium, we all having a choice. Some of us chose to sit on the last bench, some of us chose to sit over here in the front, some of us in the middle, some of us didn't have a choice. And that holds good to whatever college, institute, wherever you'd want to go in. But now that we are here, how do we ensure that we all learn? And that's the focus is the first layer of learning in terms of the environment, the where and the when. And like Dr. Modi was saying, that you'll come across lots of infrastructure, lots of classes, lots of these things. So that's the kind of an orientation which you are going to get in, where you are going to learn, where you'll be having various things, when you'll be having those sessions, when you'll be leading through various aspects. So that's all about the environment. And I think it's very important to quickly get familiarized with the environment. And I'll share my own example of how environment plays a trick and how it can really be a challenge if we don't quickly adapt and align with the environment. So as you know, I do a little bit of scuba diving, and at the initial phase of my learning, so there are multiple stages. The first stage is online learning, where you need to go through various sessions, and diving is very scientific. You need to understand the principles of buoyancy, the principles of various aspects till you get in. To actually dive deeper, the weight management, the oxygen flow, it's all pure science. As you go down, the density of air goes down, and there's a whole lot of principles that we need to follow. So I had done those, did very well. Then there is this something called confined water training, which happens typically in a swimming pool. That's where you are trained on various aspects. So that again was wonderful for me. I did very well. And then I had an opportunity to get into my first or second dive in an open environment, and that's where you are taken on a ship, a small kind of a boat, and that's where you get down to heights or depths which could be around between 10 meters to 20 meters. 20 meters is where the recreational dives end. So that is where I had seen the environment on my online modules, which I had done very well. I had done very well in the confined swimming pool training, and there I was in the real waters, and I was pretty confident and everything. So Once I entered into the water, it was pretty good. Initial 20-25 minutes was like wonderful. It was like amazing experience, experiencing the water, the nature, the life under the water was awesome. And at that point of time, I realized, I was keeping a beard at that point of time, I realized there was a little bit of water which was kind of seeping inside. And so in scuba diving, you dive as buddies. So that's where I was and you need to be in close contact. So me and my buddy, a very good friend of mine, were really close by, but he was going on, and we also had a trainer. The trainer was also progressing. That is where I realized that there was slight water which was sleeping into my mask, and I was finding it a little difficult. So underwater, you can't call anybody, right? You can't say, hi, wait. But I was trying to kind of give him a message, but he was in his own trance and he was moving, and so was the trainer. Was very curious, but I was struggling. As time passed by, I realized the importance of one breath. The breath what we are taking right now. I tend to be more aware of that breath right now. The value of that breath, I realized 14 meters in a sea, that how important is this breath for me. And just imagine if a timely intervention would not have happened, then probably it would have been a different thing. So finally our trainer down there came in, and we do have various tools, techniques, but the environment suddenly changes, and that's where we need to be really mindful of how are we going to deal with it. So that is where I learned my first lesson of how do we quickly adapt, align, and respect the nature. And so after that, I've really understood that what we do online, what we do in classrooms, and what we actually do is quite different. But it's an opportunity for all of us. So next time, by default, let's say, I'm sure after tea break when you will come in, most of you will come and sit on the same seats where you're sitting right now, right? Would you agree? Why? Sense of comfort. You already know that this is a nice place, safe place. You already met your people around. But challenge yourself. Go and sit in a different place. Go and make new friends. That's where growth is going to happen. And while talking about this environment, it's not only this learning which is going to happen in a very facilitative manner, but you'd also be having significant opportunities to access chat tools, AI. So are you going to use them? Or are you, and it's quite easy, you'll get lots of assignments, and easiest thing to do is put up nice prompt and you'll get all the assignment done. So do you want to do that? Or go through a more challenging aspect of not relying on a chat GPT or a AI agent which will tell you what is the best way or a case analysis, but to learn yourself. I think that is where the challenge lies. In terms of the environment, the where, when, and how do you learn, how do you grow in this particular environment. So I think that's something which is going to be important. And like I said, be intentional with the environment. So next time you walk around, you have a choice to just go and sit where you are sitting, just go and sit to people with whom you are familiar, but you have a choice to do something different. And that is where growth is going to happen. Try it out for yourself. Your feet will drag you to that particular chair. And that's where you would want to say, nay, I've already been sitting over here. Front bench, I'll be under target of the teachers or this thing. They'll ask me to say something. So that fear will always come in. But challenge yourself. So come with a whole lot of intention. Don't just walk in, but walk in with a strong anchor. Moving on. The next aspect is all about the behaviors, what we do. And it's not since morning when we wake up to the night, because MBA courses are something which happens 24/7. So how do you conduct yourself? What you do is really going to be an important aspect for each one of us. So typically the growth, how many of you know how to swim? Okay. How many of you know how to cycle? And I'm sure all of us know how to walk, right? How did the walking process start? Did we start walking the way we are walking since childhood? No, right? So we turned, we crawled, we moved forward, we stood up, we figured out what is the center of gravity, then took a step forward, fell down. But then we are encouraged, kuch nahi, you stand up again. Somebody is there to hold your hand and this thing. And that is where we started to stand up, started to move, started to run and so on. Right? So what's actually happening, and there's a play of these two words, consciousness and competence. So typically when it comes to behaviors, we all start with unconscious or unaware competence. We don't know what's happening. Like I gave an example of that breath, which is there, which is happening, but only we realize when really there's a challenge. So in our journey of behaviors, habits, there will be a whole lot of unconscious habits. How can we be more aware of those unconscious habits? And for those unconscious to incompetence, how do you focus on conscious incompetence, where we are more aware? Okay, now I'm coming into a thing. What I've learned in my graduation, this thing is a typical way of study, a typical way of taking notes, a typical way of doing things, a typical way of cracking exams, a typical way of doing orals and so on. But here, it's going to be very unique, very different. That's the way at least I perceive it to be. And typically when we go for interviews, it's not about those 10-15 minutes, but it's the entire preparation in terms of who you are becoming right now, which is what reflects in those 10-15 minutes of conversations, discussions. So how are you moving from that unconscious to conscious awareness of incompetence? And it's perfectly fine. Not everybody is there. We didn't know how to walk, run, speak. We all learned it, right? And now from conscious incompetence, there's a phase which comes to conscious competence, where we are knowing, we are aware of, where we are trying it out, we are very happy to share and kind of be happy with it. So that's that phase where you need to celebrate a new skill, a new habit, a new behavior. And like people, like kids, like people who are excellent in cycling or swimming or any other aspect or driving, that's where it becomes unconscious competence. I think that's that state of leadership we all need to be aware of. And that comes through our deep awareness of what our behaviors are. And that's where I would say the Carpe Diem over here, like seek the day, is just go chase what are those things, what are those aspects which are unconscious. Just work on those. And those are those elements which are more around the what of each one of us. And you will find it really difficult. But again, break those barriers, be aware of those habits, challenge yourselves, and that's where growth is going to happen. You will be stretched. You will be not forced, but invited to come out of your own comfort zone, invited to challenge yourself. And here, what I'd also urge parents to not tell, but ask, what is that you have learned, or what is that zone of discomfort that you are going through right now? Because that zone of discomfort is where your kids are actually growing. It's that zone where they are becoming better individuals. They are creating or they are sculpting better versions of themselves. Okay? Moving on, I think this is one of the most important aspects for anybody, which is around the toolbox that you will be getting and how you will keep on expanding for yourself. It could be case studies, it could be seminars, it could be lectures, it could be projects, it could be assignments, various aspects of pedagogy which are there. Okay, let me just take an example. When I say apple, what comes to your mind? Sorry? Doctor, oh, okay. So yeah, let me refine. So this apple is not the Apple product or the Apple phone, but the apple that we eat, right? So what came to your mind? Fruit? So did you see it? What color? Is it always red? What size? Small, big, right? So most of us who saw an apple are very visual in our approach. So our mind says that acha, apple is a red, this is the thing, this is how it looks like. How many of us heard an apple? You hear that crunch when you bite a nice tasty apple, crunch. So that's the auditory way of listening. So when you say apple is, yeah, I have heard that sound of an apple, right? How many of you could feel apple, let's say plucking it from a tree or segregating it or cutting it? It's the kinesthetic way of gathering information. There's nothing right or wrong, right? How many of us could kind of get the senses of a smell, though apple doesn't smell like a mango, but it has its own unique aspects, right? So that is the fourth sense. How many of us could taste the apple, the sweetness of an apple or the sourness of an apple? That is the gustatory senses that we have. So all of us have different learning styles, and it will be good to understand what is my preferred way of learning. But that doesn't necessarily have to stop with only, okay, I see an apple, a red apple, a green apple. But are there more ways of learning? Are there more ways of understanding any concept or any aspect? And this is where I would invite you to look at an aspect of RUEI. R and U is something which you have been doing all throughout, which is read. And our examination patterns are like you read and puke, and you get your marks, right? But how many of us read and then go to the U part of it, which is understand, in terms of use those concepts where you really require. This might be life skills, this might be various aspects. So that becomes important. RU next is experiencing it. How do you experience that particular aspect of concept learning in a way of life? And to experience it, it's always better to use all the 5 aspects of senses. Your visual, your auditory, your kinesthetic, olfactory and gustatory. How you're taking information. And different people, you'll soon realize, take in information in different ways and still they find it very interesting. So just be mindful of that particular aspect. Lots of strategies of how do you do well, how do you crack an examination, how do you go and do it. But I think there are 2 S's. One is the strategy part of it, and second is the state part of it. And when I'm saying state, it is basically the state of mind. And that is the most important state that we need to be looking at. What is that state of mind we are on a continuous basis to look at it? We spoke about the aspect of the reptilian brain, which is really getting into fight, flight, or freeze mode. How do you move from that fight, flight, freeze mode to a coach mode? Sir used this word of coach, right? What does coach stand for? It's actually centered. How well you are centered, completely aligned. How open you are in terms of getting new senses, new information, new aspects. How aware you are of various things which are happening with you at this point of time. How aware you are in terms of being here and now. How aware you are in terms of your sitting posture, your own breathe, your thoughts, your feelings. On an average, they say we have 70 to 80,000 thoughts which come in. And of that, 90% thoughts are repetitive. And hence, it's total waste of time. So how aware we are of those aspects. The next aspect is C. How connected we are. The entire integration of your mind, heart, soul, not only within, but with the rest of the team with whom we are working. And the last aspect is, how are we holding space for ourselves, for others? That really becomes important. Right, so when you look at Gandhi's 3 monkeys, you all know. What are the 3 monkeys? Bura mat dekho, bura mat suno, bura mat bolo. So we all have those 3 monkeys. But the journey is, how do you change from those monkey state to a monk state? Bura mat dekho, dekhna to padega. But how do you observe? How do you see? How do you make sense of various things? That's observation. And as leaders, you'll have to really be observant of various things and develop those skills. I'm also developing. Of how do you observe really to connect. Buramat bolo. So it's not about verbal competition, but more about asking, more about connecting, more about generating curiosity, leading to reflections and introspections. And Bura Mat Suno. Suno is not about listening. More often than not, we listen, but we are multitasking. Our thing is, what next do I want to ask? But do you listen with empathy? Do we listen with understanding? Is what the state is going to help us over here. Moving on, I'll be a little quick over here, but these are some very good, powerful tools which can be used, and it only comes through practice. And to be leaders, you don't have to be the fastest or loudest, but you have to be really consistent. Those who are consistent continuously on a day-to-day basis, continuous basis is where then you are a leader, actual leader. The next aspect is values and beliefs, and this is something which is I feel is very important for me. And again, a story. So I used to love dogs, big puppies when I was a kid. But unfortunately, a small puppy kind of bit me and died. At that point of time, we had 3 injections on your belly or a stomach. And the criteria is, if that dog survives for a week, then you are okay with 3 injections. If something happens to that dog, you have to take 11 more. That is total set of 14 injections. So I was bit. Actually, we were playing and there was a little blood which came in, and I had to take first dosage of 3 injections, and I was very scared of injections. So I took that and I was like really taking care of that puppy. But as fate had to have it, on 7th day, it died. The reason was something else. Actually, there was a cow which kind of kicked it and it died, but doctor said we don't know the reason. Baki ka 11 injections bhi pet mein ghusa. So after that, I've been really scared of dogs. I never had even a small picture, a photograph of dogs. I said, "Nee, boss, this is it's not a thing that I would like to have." So I built that conditioning that no, this is not good for me. I'll not keep a dog. And I grew up with that for almost 30 years of my life, 35 years. And I was in a workshop. And that's where I was in a team, and I had a person who was visually impaired, blind. And when we came in a team, I was like very young, energetic. I'm still energetic. So first thought was, we got a person who is visually impaired, and it's going to be very difficult for my team to win. I said, chalo, aaya hai to theek hai, but we'll ensure that all of us contribute, and we'll kind of balance his contribution which might not come in. But I was really surprised the way my good old friend is now like one of my best buddies. He really appreciated that my own beliefs, my own thoughts that somebody will not be able to contribute, I was so wrong. And that's where I realized that the way he was contributing, the way he was bringing in various aspects was unique. We of course won that particular thing, but it also opened my eyes. But the beauty of story lies in the second part. When on that day evening we went to a friend in Delhi, she called us for a dinner. So as usual, I said, be aware of dogs. And since I got 2 of them, I said, boss, I'm not coming in. You take care of those dogs, otherwise I'll not be walking inside. So I was really dead scared of those. But my friend over here just opens the door, walks in, just starts playing with them, huddling them, and so nice, oh, this thing. And here I was so afraid of those kennels, dogs. I was like, no, I'm not going to come in. And that changed my moment. I said, boss, what am I doing? I'm unnecessarily picked up an experience which doesn't hold, and I'm still sticking on to it. And that changed my life. I think that paradigm shift really happened. I initially hesitated, went in over there, connected with the dogs, and then become friendly. And since then I've become an animal lover. And good point, Sushma didn't mention that, but so in my farm I had a crocodile, so I'm not afraid of crocodiles or snakes. Of course we can't keep crocodiles, so I had to let it go in the forest department. The point is, there are lots of unconditional biases, beliefs which might be a showstopper. Are we aware of our own biases, beliefs? I think it's always good to be aware of those and overcome those aspects. This is the last one in terms of who you are or who you would want to be. I think that's something which is really fundamental. And at least I've realized, like I said, I'm more of a seeker, and I've realized that every time who I want to be is quite unique, very different, and that's okay. When I ask my daughter, every week she says, I'll be a journalist, I'll be a photographer, I'll be a NASA astronaut. I think, okay, no problems. So I'm also changing, I'm also experiencing. So I think it's very important to understand what's your mission going to be. Do you want to work? You want to set up an enterprise? Do you want to do something for the society? Do you want to something to do yourself? Where do you see your best possible version? When you see 20 years from now, how do you see your best possible version of yourself, and how can that help? You are talking about Viksit Bharat 20 years from now, but for Viksit Bharat, each one of us will have to have the best potential version of ourselves. Only then certainly Viksit Bharat will happen, but we'll be able to contribute in a significant manner over there. So for that, I think it's important to start living now, every moment, every point of time, and that journey commences. But it doesn't have to be on top. We need to kind of calibrate, move up and down every time we get into a different environment. Just be adaptable, align. The set of capacity, the set of behaviors which would be required would be very different and difficult, and that's where we'll have to again see what is it, something which is going to really help me to grow and be a better version. As you move on, the kind of competencies, capabilities required both in terms of your strategies as well as your state of mind is going to be very different. As you move on, you'll also realize that you will have an opportunity to challenge your old biases, beliefs, work on those, and create something which is going to serve your purpose of who you'd want to be. So that I would just end up saying that don't chase credentials, chase clarity. Don't just lead with your mind, lead it with your heart and meaning. Don't wait for the moment. Don't wait for 2 years, 6 months. This is the day, this is the moment, right now, right here. So with this, I'd like to once again thank each one of you, especially all the parents, all the students over here, all the leaders, and all the people, Professor Tamane, Dr. Modi, and everybody for giving me an opportunity. I know I've overshot the time, but thank you, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deshpande. That was indeed a wonderful talk. I'm sure all the students are now definitely going to seize the day. Your simple 5-step ladder was indeed very, very insightful. Students,